Is AI in the workplace something we should be fearful of, or can it enhance the employee experience? Let's find out. Welcome to Talking HR Trends with Natal and Tom. I'm Natal Dank.
And I'm Tom Haak.
And we explore the latest hot topics and business challenges impacting the people side of organisations. Stick around to the end for our practical top tip. And if you found this discussion valuable, please subscribe. I would find it really helpful if you could start with a definition of AI and adaptive tech and just help everyone understand what that is.
Thank you.
Off you go.
Professor Haak explains AI. In essence, it does mean something like a machine that can act as if it is intelligent. And then it can be at a very basic level, and it can be at a really high level. I'll give you an example, for example, with chatbots. The most simple chatbots, well, they are not super intelligent. Those chatbots have a list of 10 questions. And it says, if someone asks about question number 1, this is the answer. And if someone asks question number 11, you say, I'm sorry, I cannot help you. Yeah. Well, is that intelligence? Yeah. But the next level, you can say, well, maybe it helps if a machine can start distracting out of all the questions that are asked, make sense out of that. Say, well, these are questions that are asked a lot. Yes. So at least make the list longer itself. Instead of 10, say I add new ones. And I also refine the answers because I can see whether the people are happy with the answers or not, or maybe I should adapt it a little bit. Okay. It becomes more adaptive if they take into account who is asking the questions. And they say, hey, it's Tom. He's an experienced person in this field. We can be brief, or we can assume he has a certain basic level. So taking that into account helps enormously with the experience someone has. In the end, you can imagine, and it's already possible today, but you don't see it a lot, it seems as if you are interacting with a real human being who understands you, bringing it from basic level to a higher level, understanding the clients, but also making sense of all the data that it's collecting. I think that helps enormously. And you could call that artificial intelligence.
Yeah, okay. So I could say that there is an opportunity if you introduce something like that in the HR team or department, and also some parts of the business, where you could increase this sort of, one-time resolution or first-time resolution of all your general queries. So this idea that you don't necessarily always need to go and search the website yourself or have to have a phone call with someone. So that could be very helpful and could enrich the employee experience. So is there any, I suppose, what are the other examples that you think that are out there at the moment where AI can actually help us?
Oh, it's every domain of HR. HR can help us to make the life of HR, but also the life of the users more convenient. And another example is performance management. Okay. A lot of technology and automation is more or less automating standardized processes. You see that a lot.
Yeah.
But you can use the same technology to make the workflows a lot more user-friendly. I'll give you the example of performance management. If you know some characteristics of the manager, for example, is he or she an experienced people manager, or is he or she early career? Secondly, is how obedient is someone? Well, we all know those systems that are standardized, that I open my computer in the morning and it says, Tom, time for your review with Natal. And when I have not done it, then the next day it says, Tom, we're going to shut off your computer if you don't do your... That irritates enormously because I am experienced and obedient. So you only have to trigger me once. If you know that, the machine has to say, Tom, it's this time of the year again. Good luck with all your performance review. I won't bother you again.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
An inexperienced manager say, well, yeah, I don't know exactly what to do. Hey,
Mhm.
inexperienced manager, here's a short video we present to you with
Yeah.
what is expected of you. And we'll
Yeah.
guide you through the process. We'll help you. And even when it's not working well, we have Natal in the back who can support you as well. So a lot more support in the workflow, but maybe also outside the workflow, adapted to the needs of that person. Well, that is helpful instead of pushing
Yes.
workflows
Yeah.
to people in a
Exactly.
standardized way. One other quick example is in recruitment. Speed is important. So with AI, you can speed up a lot of processes. For
Yeah.
example, the whole sourcing of candidates. Today, you can give the machine my resume or my LinkedIn profile and say to the machine, we are looking for people who are like Tom in his characteristics and his
Yeah.
skill set. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then the machine goes out there and starts scraping databases and presents candidates, maybe 10, 20, that resemble in a certain way, maybe 80%, 90%. So you speed up the sourcing process. Still, the human being can add value then. I will look at those CVs. So, whoa, hey, why this?
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
then I
Yeah.
say to the machine, this is very strange that you came up with this CV. And then the machine, oh, I'm sorry. But then the machine learns to adapt the search mechanism. The machine
Yeah.
learns from itself, but the machine also learns from the feedback it gets from humans.
Yeah. And so, am I right in that we're seeing it more in the recruitment space at the moment? Is there, or do you think it's actually starting to influence all of HR?
The HR tech is still most visible in the recruitment domain because there it's easy to quantify. It's easy to say everybody understands the recruitment arena, and there often the urgency is high. We
Yeah.
need
So
people
that's,
now. Hey, can you help us to find the right quality people faster? The applications can be everywhere.
yeah,
In
definitely.
learning and development, numerous opportunities
Yeah.
to use technology to offer people the learning solutions they need at that moment in time and that can help them.
Yeah.
Career, talent management, whatever.
What do you think is HR's role here when it comes to AI, artificial intelligence in the workplace? And I say this because I also hear all the kind of the fear stories. You could build bias into the way the machine learns. And then there's this idea of that machine ultimately becomes as smart as the human and then moves beyond. So there's the whole Terminator kind of concept going on here with AI.
So it's not giving our life to the machine and say goodbye and good luck.
Yeah.
We have to understand the technology, say what's going on and is it going in the right direction? Do I see strange things? So you have to be very
Yeah.
vigilant
Yeah.
and try to understand it. So we can say you should not shy away from technology, but try to understand it or let people explain it. We have a lot of biases in selection process. The technology can help us to overcome those biases. And let's then watch out that we don't introduce new biases. The life of HR professionals, the life of people in organizations, the life of candidates, the life of managers can be a lot more pleasant and effective if we learn how to apply the right technologies. And often these days, AI elements are part of that. Machines that can learn with us and that can learn through us.
Exactly. I think that should be our practical top tip. Go and find out more about what is AI. How is it coming into the workplace? How can it enrich the employee experience? Yes, understand some of the questions that we need to ask and some, the ethics around it. But the key is how can this actually enrich the employee experience? And how can we know how to use this in an effective way? We can't just say we're not technical in HR. We actually need to understand the tech and be willing and ready to work with it. So go and find out more. Great. Thanks for your time today, Tom. That was a really insightful conversation. I learnt a lot, so thank you very much. If you liked this conversation and found it valuable, please subscribe. This is Talking HR Trends with Natal and Tom. Have a great day.